What uppers? How's it going? Welcome back to another show. This is You May Roscoe, and I am Roscoe. That is me. And today's show, we're going to be doing a reaction to the song "Were You There When They Crucified My Lord?" That's quite the question. And this is by Mahalia Jackson. This is being performed on the Ed Sullivan Show, so we'll be checking this out. Before we do that, I do want to ask for anybody who hasn't already that they please subscribe to the channel and also make sure you hit the notification bell. Mahalia is somebody who, of course, I've heard of, iconic name, but haven't had a chance to like really listen to any of her songs with like real intent for real, So I thought I'd take this chance to, create a rabbit hole for this lady, if you will. So we're going to be diving in. Let's go ahead and get this started.
Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Were you there when they crucified my Lord?
Now I'm gonna stop this for a second, everybody. As you can see, my partner in crime just popped in the mix. My man Peeps, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, Roscoe? What's going on, Roscoe Village?
Ain't nothing to it, man. Ain't nothing to it. Just doing what we do, man. While where I was actually in the midst of checking out Mahalia Jackson, as you can see. Um, this is "Were You There When They Crucified My Lord?" And I and, because I hadn't really of course I've heard of Mahalia Jackson and may have heard some songs and like just in passing or whatever, but nothing with real intent. So I wanted to kind of create a rabbit hole, but I'm gonna push this back just a little bit. I'm not gonna start it all the way back, but just give you a chance to catch at least some of what you missed from the beginning already. So push it back a little, and we'll go ahead and get this started, and we'll take it from there. Let's do it.
Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Oh, sometimes head causes me, Lord, to tremble, to tremble, Lord, tremble. Were you there?
I'm gonna stop it. I'll rewind it back a little bit, because this is actually they made some super short songs back in the days, But Peeps, are you somebody that like has had a chance in your life to like really check out Mahalia Jackson?
Unfortunately, I've heard about name, but I've never got a chance to really dabble into any of her music, unfortunately.
Word. No, same with me. Same with me. Because well, I always give the excuse, I guess, that because there's so much music, out there, and then the kind of some of it is like when you a poor kid, shit, how much access are you going to have to like really dive in everything? Like when I started out my journey as a kid and got attached to music, like you only had access to what you had access to. So a lot of this stuff I probably wouldn't have learned about until I got a little bit older and a little more aware of the world around me and all that type of stuff. But um, any thoughts on what you heard up to this point?
Um, you can see the soul there. I haven't seen our eyeballs in the last minute that I was watching it. And that just shows you that she's like meditating in the music right now. Similar to someone like Carlos Santana who plays the guitar, and that facial expression, he doesn't open his eyes, you just see him just playing. And it's because he's playing his soul through the guitar.
Right.
And she's singing that soul, of course, through her mouth. And I haven't seen, like I said, I haven't seen her eyes, but great voice. Almost put me in the mindset of Nina Simone. Have you ever heard of her?
Yes. Yeah. No, I definitely heard of her. It's funny because that's another rabbit hole that's going to end up getting open too. But you can go ahead. I'm sorry.
And she just kind of reminded me of a little bit softer version of Nina Simone. Because Nina Simone has a very groggy voice with her. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's still enjoyable though.
Word. Let's go ahead and conclude this, and then we'll give our final assessments.
When they cruise, say fire, my Lord.
Here is one of our greatest stories.
All right. Got to see old Ed at the end too. That's what's up. That was Mahalia Jackson with "Were You There When They Crucified My Lord?" And what was your thoughts on as far as what you heard, Peeps?
A very, very soulful voice, man. One of those voices that you really don't hear nowadays, because it's not so much about the talent, it's about the product. And the product is no longer voices. It's this almost mechanical sound and theme. So always refreshing to hear voices like this. The I believe Korean guy that we did a video on, his voice is amazing. You just love hearing voices, man, and the power that people can put behind it.
Yeah, no, I agree. She does have like an amazing voice, and when you talk about like, we just don't have singers like this no more. That immediately made me think of like the recent verses. I don't know if you're aware of with
Facts.
Well, there was a couple of videos I see, because I didn't watch the actual verses, but right. there was apparently one that was going on with Ray J versus somebody. I'm not.
Yeah. They had basically all of the 2000 heartthrobs for R&B, and Sammy Mario, Ray J, Omarion, all of those guys on that. Mario was the only guy that, from what I heard, that really maintained anything. Like everybody else, it was it was a
Yeah.
struggle.
No, dude. I did get a chance to hear a little piece of Mario, and he was singing. Now, and everybody else that I heard in that, because it was like Jeremiah and all these dudes that you named already. But every single last one of them outside of Mario sounded horrible, horrible. And these are that was R&B. You know what I mean? Like that. But I said that like during that time, like how like somewhere in the late 90s, somewhere going into like the early 2000s, like after that point, like something happened to R&B. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, it was something weird that was happening, and maybe I got the timeline, maybe it extends a little bit more as far as like the good stuff a little bit, but like somewhere in them 2000s, like there was a shift in like real artists, real singers being available. I mean, would you agree to that? Or
I think that was like towards the era of it switching to that it not being about voices anymore.
Mhm.
These are pretty boys that we can put on, and the young ladies are gonna love them, and they're really athletic, so they can move around and they can do all these dance moves.
Right.
And we'll put a good beat behind them, and we'll tweak with their voices in the studio. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's that scenario. Otherwise, if you used to go back, like you said, you go back into the 90s with somebody like Johnny Gill or Kales, or I'm gonna say even Jaheim. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Somebody like that. Hell, I'll give Tyrese credit. You know what I'm saying? I would even give Tyrese credit. He can sing without the studio. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? You put him on stage and it's just him. You know what I'm saying? You were bridging that gap between actually having people who were talented and could sing, and then this product of just the machine.
Yeah. Yeah. Sad, really, but Mahalia, yeah, she's definitely a throwback to a time where, I know back in this time, like we would produce like some of the greatest soul singers and R&B artists ever. You know what I mean? So, and the times are gonna change, things evolve. I think like to come from the era that Mahalia comes from, and I've always said this about music, your struggle and your pain is gonna be attached to your art, and how much of that you went through. And I think like the artists of her time, because it was so different and there was so much more going on, especially for our culture, you know what I mean? Like there was, so it just builds up a different kind of, there's something else that attaches to your soul, when you went through the things that they went through, as opposed to now when these kids are given everything. So you ain't attached to the art like you was back then. Anything you want to say about that, or how you feel about that?
I 100% agree. If you go back and you listen to music from that era, you can push it as far as, I want to say, the late 90s. There was still an element of love, of romance and longing, and when it comes to R&B.
Mhm.
And once you move past that, it becomes more sexualized, and now it's gotten to a point where it's just bitter people. I listen to the radio, not everybody's bitter. Don't get me wrong, I get it, because music oftentimes is a direct reflection to what's going on right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just like in Miss Jackson's time, she's a reflection of that era. You know what I'm saying? So that I think it's a horrible sign of where we are mentally and emotionally as far as relationships, because if you listen to today's music, you're not going to hear any of the stuff that we're talking about. You ain't going to hear that. You know what I'm saying? As far as dialogue, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's a lot to be said within your comment.
Yeah. No, I mean, just when you think about just the one thing that this is, Mahalia Jackson was basically, she's singing a lot of church songs from what I've seen, a lot of spiritual related songs. And she was a secular artist, you know what I mean? From what I understand, like, it's not like how, like the artists that basically stated that all they sing is the church songs. Like you're not getting on Ed Sullivan. You know what I mean? Like it's not like that type of music was not for the secular crowd. You know what I mean? And it was intentionally like kept the church crowds. They used to trip back in them days on artists who I don't know if you watched like the Ray movie, but it was a piece up in there that kind of said something about that time on how he tried to morph some of church music into secular music, and how like that set was like really tripping on him, so it's just crazy to think like she was allowed to be like secular, and this was like something that was, you could sing out to everybody. And now you fast forward just some couple of well, not a couple of years, but maybe some decades or whatever, however long it took, but then it just got back into this little pocket. Like you didn't hear people singing about the Lord and Jesus on mainstream shows. So I just thought that was something that was, it just stood out to me. But me and Peeps, we could talk about this all day, but we gonna get up out of here. We got other shows to record, but before we do leave, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the share button, hit the playlist option. What I'll end up doing, I'll just go ahead and make a Mahalia Jackson reactions playlist. So, because I'm going to go ahead and create a rabbit hole, whether or not anybody asks for it. I'm just intrigued to, kind of continue to search. But there's other playlists on the page as well. A lot of great artists, a lot of great genres of music. Check out all that stuff. The Cash App is on the screen, $ you made Roscoe. For those who like to show their support to the page or just their appreciation for the work being done, there's that. And that's about that. Peeps, anything you want to add before we did?
The key word is options. The key word is options there, people. I mean, we got something for everybody. And if you dare to tangle into something new, click on something new and be introduced into that as well, get it all on this channel.
We definitely got that. No realer shit could be said than that, brother. But yeah, no, me and Peeps, we gonna dip, like I said. We will catch you guys again very soon. So until next time, y'all be safe and y'all be good.